4th of April, Palestinian administrative detainees who are imprisoned illegally for an indefinite period of time, without charge, without trial, by Israel in G4S secured dungeons, started a mass hunger protest. On the first day, 130 prisoners joined the strike. Every day, scores of other prisoners join hunger strike in solidarity, and today, on the 51st day of hunger strike, there are several hundred Palestinian prisoners on hunger strike. It is the longest mass hunger strike in Palestinian history. Every day, Israel is getting more and more ruthless towards the hunger strikers. Human rights groups, Adamir, report that Israeli prison guards and special units beat and insult the hunger strikers on a daily basis. Their clothes and basic possessions have been confiscated, and they are only allowed to keep cups of water to drink. In some prisons, they are forced to drink dirty water from taps or to walk 40 meters in order to get water. Nurses are using urine sample containers to give hunger strikers their essential salt and water, and guards delay taking the hunger strikers to restrooms. Hunger strikes being fined up to 475. Even basic hygiene products like toothbrushes and shampoo have been taken away. 80 hunger strikers have now been hospitalized in critical health, with 2 already having to undergo surgery. Many are being shackled to their hospital beds 24 hours a day. Israel understands the real strengths of those starving men, the power they yield through their resistance over occupation, that it feels threatened. Threatened so much that the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, is fast-tracking legislation to allow the forced feeding of hunger strikers. The UN Human Rights Commission has declared that forced feeding of prisoners is a form of torture and prohibited even the threat of forced feeding. And the World Medical Association specifically prohibited forced feeding in declarations of associations specifically. Prohibited force feeding in its declaration of Tokyo regarding torture. In the past, 2 Palestinian prisoners have died in an attempt to be force-fed. But Israeli doctors in the past haven't shied away from assisting in the systematic torture of Palestinian prisoners by giving medical evaluations to interrogators as to the ability of the prisoner to survive forms of torture. Often these doctors get it wrong, as in the case of the Palestinian father, Arafat Jaradat, who was tortured to death in February 2013 after Israeli doctors gave the green light to interrogators to continue their barbarism.
This is a letter written by hunger striking administration deputies on day 36 of their hunger strike. From the heart of ourselves, from our pain and suffering, our hunger that weakened us, and our fragile bodies, our legs that cannot hold us anymore, and our weak arms, we remain steadfast and continue our strike. Our bodies are collapsing. We can barely move our eyes. Our heart beats slowly fading away. And even writing this letter required hard work. We are writing this letter to express our suffering, the abuse carried out against us every single day. Our battle today entered its 36th day, and we are continuing with this strike. We are sending a scream, a shout from behind the walls of our dark cells, between the jaws of death and our jailers, while death stands in front of us. inhabits our cells. We don't know who will be taken by death first, but the jailer is just waiting, betting on our defeat. Our great beloved Palestinian people, will you allow us to become easy prey for the pranks of our merciless jailers? We are behind bars, spending years of our lives for Palestine, for its liberation and the freedom of its people. The Palestinian people are steadfast on their hand. As any other nation, they have the right to freedom, independence, and dignity. Our battle as the administrative detainees is open-ended. We started our hunger strike 36 days ago. While this battle is just one of countless battles for freedom, it's a battle against injustice wherever it exists. We have no guns, no rifles, no cannons. We are armed with the weapon of hunger. This is how we resist this sword pointed at our necks, the sword of administrative detention, holding us without charges or trial. Our great Palestinian nation, defenders of justice all over the world, organizations struggling for Palestinian rights, all governments and the free media outlets, you are our own hope. You are the hope of solidarity and support while we hold this lengthy battle, the battle of every Palestinian for liberation and dignity, and for the end of this illegitimate administrative detention, indefinitely holding us prisoners without charges or trial. Peace and Allah's blessing and mercy be upon you, your hunger-striking brothers in the Zionist jails of darkness and oppression, representing the detainees, detainee Khalil Musa Zahawra and detainee Musa Yaqub Marji, Thursday, May 29, 2014.
Ayman al-Tabish hunger striker. Today is Ayman al-Tabish's 106th day on hunger strike. On the 17th of February 2013, Israeli soldiers abducted 33 years old Ayman al-Tabish from his home in Dura, near Al-Khalil, and caged him at the G4S secured Ofer prison indefinitely on an illegal rolling administrative detention order with no charge and no trial. To protest, he went on a 105-day hunger strike, only stopping once Israel had agreed in writing that they would not renew his administrative detention. Yet in January 2014, Israel reneged on its written agreement and issued a new administrative detention order. As a result, Ayman started a second hunger strike on the 28th of February 2014. After 70 days, he lost over 25 kilograms in weight, and his condition is so critical that he has been moved twice to different hospitals. His eyesight is now suffering and he has developed kidney and stomach problems. He can no longer feel his limbs as numbness overtakes them. Today, Ayman al-Tabish completes his 102nd day on hunger strike. For our protest on the 9th of May, we received a short message from the Mohammed Al-Tabish's brother of hunger striker Ayman Al-Tabish. Mohammed himself was also a hunger striker and was released from occupation prison just 4 months ago. The message was written especially for the protest. It reads, "Thank you for standing beside us in supporting the steadfastness of my brother Ayman Al-Tabish in his hunger strike. Thank you for your humanity in supporting the Palestinian prisoners. Especially the hunger strikers. We need you to tell the international community of Israel's criminal brutality against our prisoners and the violation of their rights. The occupation's illegal, never-ending administrative detention order is nothing less than a slow death for Palestinian prisoners. Today is Ayman Al-Tabish's 106th day on hunger strike. He's close to death.
From administrative detainee on the 48th day of hunger. Despite the oppression and bars and prison walls, we will struggle to death to defend our homeland. After leaving the cells that no longer hold our pain, our diseases and our corroded bodies, taken to hospital beds, held with chains and guard dogs. Among the jailers who monitor our pulse ready to announce the news of our death. From the brink of death we draw our call, which may be the last for some of us. Perhaps it's time to have a declaration by the victors of the martyrs of our people, our dignity, our call, our voice, our heartbeats, our will and testament. We, the administrative detainees, our voice for eternity, marching to hold the sun of dignity as an end to the battle of dignity. We raise our voice to reach our people. First, we call upon you to intensify your support to the prisoners who are not yet martyred. The soldiers who are confronting with their bodies with the fascist enemy deserve a faithful stand that will end the shedding of our blood, which will not end until the achievement of our just demands. Second, despite the pain of hunger which has destroyed some parts of our body, but the rest of our bodies remain vital despite the death awaits us. And in the continuation of sacrifices that will not end with death, we denote our useful organs for all those in need, the strugglers, the poor and the oppressed, and we are waiting to visit the Red Cross to sign off these donations. Third, we call upon you to be faithful to our blood and the blood of our martyrs who have fallen before. Faithful not only by passing words, but by revolutionary actions that do not know hesitation or weakness. Fourth, we adhere to our historical rights, our right to the soil of Palestine from the river to the sea. Our rights are just and historical, and the right of return is the historical and necessary bridge to our rights. And these rights cannot be recovered without the language of force, as our enemy does not understand any other. Fifth, do not fail the living prisoners who we are leaving behind. Those who sacrifice their freedom for the freedom of their people deserve freedom, not death. Our great people in the homeland and in the diaspora, true people of the world and strugglers will hear our cry. Despite the darkness of the graves of death, we pledge to the world that our people remain committed, and we bid you farewell and victory, smiling, martyrs till further notice. Prisoners on hunger strike for 48 days.
On the 6th of June 2014, the Financial Times reported that G4S had announced for the first time that it will end all its contact with Israel prisons within 3 years. G4S has confirmed that it will end all its Israeli prison contracts within the next 3 years after an annual general meeting that was severely disrupted by human rights protesters. Mr. Almanza said for the first time that the move would also include prison service contracts all over Israel. This follows last year's announcement that due to reputational dangers to their business, mentioning the protests outside their London headquarters, G4S would exit the contract in the occupied Palestinian territories when they terminate in 2015. However, at the time, they still maintained that they would continue their prison contracts in Israel. Having held regular protests outside G4S HQ in London for nearly 2 years, since August 2012, when the Palestinian Prisoners campaign was launched at Al-Quds Day, we are pleased but cautious about G4S's announcement. Whilst we congratulate all the dedicated activists who kept the pressure on G4S to finally force them to announce that they will abandon all prison contracts in Israel, we are here to tell G4S that these are just empty words, and until the day they actually pull out of Israel, our campaign against them continues. G4S, stop your complicity in Israel war crimes against Palestinian prisoners. Today is the 51st day of a mass hunger strike against Israel's illegal practice of administrative detention, where more than 2,000 Palestinians are caged every year like charge or trial for an indefinite period of time. This is another Israeli crime that G4S is inextricably complicit in. 86% of administrative detainees are caged in prisons secured by G4S. G4S, stop your complicity in Israel war crimes against Palestinian prisoners.